Hey everyone, now we all know that the Emerald Coast is a fun and gorgeous place to be in, but over the last few days we've had a ton of people actually ask, what is there to do outside of just the Emerald Coast? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about all of the awesome places that you could visit or hang out in the greater Emerald Coast area. So stick around. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for clicking on this video. We appreciate your support. Now, if you're new to this channel, our goal is to actually kind of highlight all the cool and awesome things that the Emerald Coast has to offer, both tourists and new residents. So if you are interested in the content or want to hear more, consider subscribing. Anyway, lads and ladies, let's get back to the point of this video and talking about some of the cool things that you can do on the Emerald Coast. Now, first and foremost, before I get into all the really unique and interesting areas that the Emerald Coast has to offer, let me talk about some of the more typical things that you probably expect if you just Googled the area. And that first place I want to talk about, and it's some place I highly recommend visiting, is Pensacola. Now, this sentiment isn't exactly shared by that many people. People really prefer to be in Destin, Fort Walton Beach, that area. But for me personally, I think Pensacola is an awesome place to be. I think their downtown area is very fun and entertaining, has a lot of different options when it comes to, clubs, bars, restaurants, and just kind of a cool place to kind of hang around in for the evening. With that being said, there's also a handful of different things you can do in the area of Pensacola. Specifically for me, I'm a big sports fan, and I know I've talked about it before on this channel, but Pensacola has a semi-professional hockey team in the Pensacola Ice Flyers, as well as a semi-pro baseball team in terms of the Blue Wahoos. And I'll say it, their teams are actually really good. They're very entertaining. Plus, the best feature about having some semi-pro teams in the area is that, the tickets are cheap, so you can go to games pretty much anytime you want without feeling that you're breaking the bank and just dishing out hundreds of dollars on professional sports teams. But regardless, it is a ton of fun. I highly recommend checking out Pensacola. Now, beyond Pensacola, if you want to travel maybe in the realm of 4 to 5 hours, you can actually get to New Orleans, you can get to Atlanta, or if you're kind of a race fan, you can actually drive up the 4 to 5 hours to get to Birmingham, Alabama, where the Grand Prix for IndyCar is actually held. Now, obviously, the race has to be going on that weekend, but again, it's really not that far away. Everything seems to be in touching distance right here on the Emerald Coast. So when I say the greater Emerald Coast area, you're kind of within, a half a day's trip to get to some of the major cities and a lot of different and interesting places. But like I said, these are kind of the more typical things, probably something you would Google, before you visited here, or if you're thinking about moving, how close are you to major cities? What is there to do? I would say those are the more typical things. But right now, let's jump into some of the more unique things, stuff that I've done, stuff that I recommend that you probably won't find on Google very easily. The first place that I want to recommend is Williford Spring. Williford Spring is actually located around 65 miles east of Destin. It'll probably take you about an hour and a half depending on traffic to get there, but it is, I would say, again, within touching distance. It's kind of the greater Emerald Coast area. It's really not that far away. It doesn't take you all that long, plus you do get to drive along the coast, so you do get to see some beautiful scenes on the way. What makes Williford Spring a really cool and unique place is that it's got something for everyone. If you're looking for a very simple, easy hike, well, you got it. If you want something that's maybe going to offer you a little bit more adventurous, physical activity, then you can launch your canoes and kayaks and go for longer durations of hikes, things like that. Williford Spring has it. But if you are a family just kind of looking to spend an afternoon somewhere and just kind of see something that's cool and kind of just a fun place to be, it's got a bunch of different facilities for families to hang out in. You can picnic in, you can just kind of do whatever you want at your leisure, enjoy the smaller hikes with small kids. I mean, everything it has is built to be a more family-friendly, enjoyable place for anybody. So that's one of the places I recommend visiting if you wanted to get out of the Emerald Coast and kind of explore everything that's around it and enjoy nature at its best. Obviously, one of the biggest draws of Williford Spring is that you can actually swim in the spring. It's a very shallow area. There is some deeper parts to it, but it is a very friendly place to be. It's not dangerous by any means. It's very well kept, but you can kind of get that experience of swimming in a natural spring if you've never done it before. However, if you don't want to make that 65-mile trip over to Williford Spring, you might want to check out Google and search different springs that are in the area. the northwest part of Florida is blessed to have so many different, state parks that have natural water springs and things like that, where you can kind of go hike, explore, and spend a day or two and camp if you really need to. But there is a ton of different options. All of them have their own unique features and may appeal to you. So again, do a quick Google search, find out which spring is more appealing to you, and then head there for the weekend and let us know how you like them. Now, coming up onto the next unique parts of where you should visit on the Emerald Coast is actually a plentiful supply of unique camping experiences. I'm going to stay on the theme of camping just because I think it's something a little bit different than being on the beach, but most of these unique camping experiences are going to be available on Airbnb. For example, not too long ago, I had the wonderful opportunity, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, of going camping on the big Clearwater Creek near Milton, Florida. Now, what made this experience so different and something that I will never forget and I highly recommend is that we actually stayed in yurts. And if you don't know what a yurt is, I'll throw up a picture, kind of get an idea on what we stayed in. But the yurt was actually very spacious. It had plenty of room. The host actually even put like an AC in it and ran power to it just because it was ridiculously hot in the time that we went. So it was very comfortable, very fun. Plus it was right on the Clearwater Creek, and you got to just hang out throughout the day, fish, put your feet in the water, and even if we were up to it, we could have rented canoes and kayaks to float down the river. Now, this Clearwater Creek does feed into the Blackwater River, so you do have options if you wanted to go camp anywhere else, pretty much throughout Northwest Florida. There are tons of different unique and interesting camping options that you can actually pursue. A lot of them have, sometimes have tiny homes. Some of them have just regular, plain cleared out grassland where you can throw up a tent. But some of them are like the places that I stayed at, where they have yurts or something different that make, camping, just spice it up just a little bit, make it different than what you've ever done in the past. All right, to cap off this video, I want to talk about two coastal towns that I recommend visiting. They are 100% worth going to. Now, I know I said in this video it's going to be kind of the greater Emerald Coast region, but if we're talking about technicalities and some of the definitions, Emerald Coast, I would say, runs from Pensacola to Panama City, and these are just east of Panama City. So the greater Emerald Coast region, I think it fits. Don't judge me. But anyway, these two towns are Port St. Joe and Mexico Beach. Now, both of these towns are interesting in basically every way, in my opinion. They are very much quaint and small. They have smaller downtown areas that are really meant to be enjoyed and not like the touristy areas of like Destin and Fort Walton Beach. Now, what I loved about Port St. Joe and Mexico Beach is that, again, I'm not inundated with just a crowd of people constantly. I feel like I can relax, enjoy the time that I'm there, really enjoy the beautiful architecture that they have, as well as the nature that surrounds you. Because they also have some hiking trails and places where you can kind of get away from the crowd of people that, you're used to being in like the Emerald Coast. But they're absolutely gorgeous towns. They have some of the best beaches in the whole area. You really won't regret it, but it's kind of what you expect, right? The beautiful beaches are down the whole coast, and Port St. Joe and Mexico Beach really just emphasize that. But you may be wondering, Garrett, that doesn't sound that unique and not that cool of a place. Trust me, if you are ever in the Emerald Coast and you're in Destin and Fort Walton Beach, or just kind of anywhere in that area, you'll understand when I say like the crowds are there. They're constantly around people. You're having to deal with traffic. You're having to deal with this, that, and everything else. Being on an area, especially on the coast, as beautiful as Mexico Beach and Port St. Joe, is that you're going to deal with people. Well, again, these aren't nearly as tourist heavy. You get to actually enjoy space and feel like a very relaxed atmosphere around you. And that's why I think it's so unique and such a cool place to visit, is that you almost feel like you've jumped into a different dimension with just the same beaches and everything like that. But overall, incredibly beautiful places to visit. Absolutely a blast to hang out with family and friends and have some dinner. It's definitely worth the trip. It's one of the coolest places that I've been to on the Emerald Coast, without a doubt, and I highly recommend visiting. Or if you're interested in maybe buying over there, let us know. We can help you find something. But as always, thank you for watching this video. That wraps it up. I hope you have a few more ideas on where you'd like to visit or some of the cool things that you can do on the Emerald Coast if you want to move here. And as always, my name is Garrett with the O'Leary Brothers team, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.